Imagine being billions of miles away from home, floating alone in the cold darkness of space for almost 50 years. That's exactly what happened to Voyager 2, one of humanity's greatest space explorers. But what this little spacecraft recently beamed back to Earth has scientists completely shocked and, frankly, a little scared. For months, Voyager 2 went completely silent. NASA thought they had lost their faithful space messenger forever. Then suddenly, after 2 months of nothing, it came back online with a message so strange and powerful that it shouldn't have been possible. What NASA discovered hidden in that signal is keeping scientists awake at night, and once you hear what they found, you'll understand why. Let me tell you the incredible story of Voyager 2's final transmission, and why it might be the most important message humanity has ever received from space. Back in 1977, when your grandparents were young, NASA launched 2 special spacecraft called Voyager 1 and Voyager 2. These weren't just any ordinary space probes. They were built to be humanity's ambassadors to the cosmos, carrying golden records with sounds and images from Earth in case any aliens ever found them. For nearly 50 years, Voyager 2 has been our faithful friend in space. It flew past Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune, sending back amazing pictures that changed how we see our solar system. Think of it like having a really smart robot friend who went on the ultimate road trip and kept sending you postcards from the most incredible places in the universe. But as the years went by, Voyager 2 started getting weaker. Its nuclear battery, which is like a super long-lasting power source, began running low. By 2023, it barely had enough energy to send weak radio signals back to Earth. Scientists knew that soon, their old friend would go silent forever. Then something strange happened last winter. Voyager 2 suddenly stopped talking to us completely. No signals, no data, nothing at all. For 63 long days, there was only silence from the spacecraft that had never failed to check in with Earth. NASA engineers tried everything they could think of. They sent commands to reset the computer, tried switching to backup systems, and pointed our biggest radio dishes toward where Voyager should be. Nothing worked. Scientists started writing goodbye messages. Space fans around the world mourned online. It seemed like humanity's greatest space explorer had finally died in the cold emptiness between stars. Everyone began accepting that Voyager 2 had joined the graveyard of human technology lost in space. But then something happened that shocked everyone. After 63 days of complete silence, Voyager 2 suddenly woke up. But it didn't just send its usual boring data about space temperatures and radiation levels. Instead, it sent something that made NASA's computers light up like Christmas trees. The signal was massive, focused, and incredibly powerful. Remember, this spacecraft barely had enough energy left to power a small light bulb. Yet somehow, it sent a transmission so strong that it overwhelmed receivers at 3 different NASA stations, all at the same time. It was like watching your dying phone suddenly blast out a signal powerful enough to reach the moon. But here's where things get really weird. When NASA's best computer experts started looking at the data, they realized this wasn't normal Voyager information. It wasn't the usual reports about cosmic rays or magnetic fields. This was something completely different, something that looked like it had been deliberately created by an intelligence. The data was organized in layers, like a puzzle within a puzzle. There were mathematical patterns that repeated with small changes, almost like someone was trying to write in a special code. Even stranger, parts of the message contained incredibly detailed information about space radiation and tiny particles floating around Voyager. But here's the scary part. This information was far more accurate than Voyager's old 1970s instruments could possibly measure. NASA brought in their best codebreakers and computer scientists to figure out what they were looking at. After weeks of analysis, they came to a conclusion that sent chills down everyone's spine. This wasn't a computer glitch or damaged data. This was a deliberately crafted message with clear patterns that showed intelligence behind it. But Voyager 2 was built with 1970s technology. Its computer is less powerful than a cheap calculator you can buy today. There was absolutely no way it could create such a complex, layered message on its own. Something else had to have been involved. The mystery got even deeper when scientists realized how much power it took to send this message. Based on Voyager's distance from Earth and the strength of the signal, the transmission should have required about 20 times more energy than the spacecraft could possibly generate, even when it was brand new back in 1977. It would be like asking a flashlight with dying batteries to suddenly shine as bright as a lighthouse. Not only should it have been impossible, but such a powerful energy surge should have instantly destroyed all of Voyager's delicate electronics. Yet somehow, the spacecraft not only channeled this incredible amount of energy, but aimed it perfectly toward Earth without burning out. Even more puzzling, when NASA checked on Voyager 2 after this impossible transmission, they found it was still working normally, though it had gone silent again. Something had temporarily supercharged our distant explorer without destroying it, using technology far beyond anything we understand. When NASA's data experts finally cracked open the mysterious signal, what they found inside made them question everything they thought they knew about space. Hidden in the complex code were images, but not the fuzzy, grainy pictures Voyager usually sent back. These were crystal clear, detailed images showing things that shouldn't have been possible. The first image showed what looked like a massive artificial structure floating against a background of unfamiliar stars. This wasn't some random space rock or natural formation. It had straight edges, geometric patterns, and looked clearly built by intelligence. It was like finding a photograph of a giant space city in a place where no city should exist. Another sequence of images revealed what appeared to be enormous lights moving in perfect formation through deep space. These weren't random stars or planets following natural orbits. They were moving together in organized patterns, like cosmic lighthouses signaling to each other across the darkness. Most disturbing were images showing objects changing direction in space in ways that defied everything we know about how things move in the universe. These weren't asteroids or comets following predictable paths around stars. These were objects making decisions, turning when they wanted to, gathering together in groups like a fleet of ships. When astronomers tried to figure out where these pictures came from, they hit another wall of impossibility. Based on Voyager 2's current position and the direction it was traveling, it couldn't possibly see these locations. The spacecraft's cameras and instruments were pointed in completely different directions. Either the images were completely fake, which seemed unlikely given their detail and complexity, or something had shown our spacecraft places it couldn't observe on its own. Even stranger, when scientists analyzed the light patterns and radiation signatures in the pictures, they matched real cosmic conditions, suggesting these weren't imaginary scenes but actual places somewhere in our universe. Deep within the complex data package was something that made even the world's best codebreakers nervous. It was a perfectly structured binary message, a long string of ones and zeros that was clearly meant to be communication. Unlike random space noise or computer errors, this code had clear patterns and structure. NASA put their most powerful supercomputers to work decoding this digital message. After weeks of round-the-clock analysis, patterns began to emerge that sent chills through the scientific community. The message contained advanced mathematical proofs, but these weren't simple equations that any intelligent species might use to say hello. These were incredibly complex formulas describing 11-dimensional space and physics concepts that are at the very edge of human understanding. Some of the mathematics describe theories about the universe that our smartest scientists are only beginning to explore. It was like receiving a graduate-level physics textbook from somewhere among the stars. Even more unsettling was that parts of the message seemed to know Earth very well. It contained detailed descriptions of our solar system, including the exact composition of our planet and what appeared to be timestamps marking major events in human history. Whoever sent this message knew things about us that they shouldn't have been able to know. When the full translation was finally presented to a small committee of top scientists and government officials, several people walked out of the meeting looking visibly shaken. While the complete contents of the message remained classified, leaked reports suggest it included predictions of astronomical events scheduled to happen within the next decade. These weren't vague prophecies, but specific predictions with exact dates and locations. If these predictions turn out to be accurate, they could fundamentally change our understanding of how the universe works and potentially pose serious threats to Earth's safety. Among the strangest elements in Voyager 2's final transmission was a set of space coordinates, precise locations scattered throughout our galaxy. At first, astronomers thought these might point to the source of the message, but what they discovered instead turned confusion into fear. These coordinates didn't point to just one location, but to dozens of positions spread across the galaxy in a perfect geometric pattern. When scientists plotted these points in three-dimensional space, they formed a precise shape with Earth sitting right in the center, as if our planet was being marked from multiple directions simultaneously. Some coordinates pointed to seemingly empty regions of space, where telescopes detected nothing unusual. Others aligned with distant galaxies, billions of light-years away. The precision of these calculations was impossible for Voyager 2's simple navigation system to achieve. When astronomers pointed our most powerful telescopes toward some of these locations, they found disturbing anomalies. There was gravitational bending of light where there should have been none, unexpected bursts of radiation, and in 2 cases, stars showing unusual dimming patterns similar to what we might expect from massive artificial structures passing in front of them. One senior NASA scientist resigned from his position after studying these coordinates. His only public statement was that the pattern was too perfect, too deliberate, too aware of us. This fueled rumors that these weren't random points but some kind of cosmic surveillance network with Earth as the primary focus. If true, it would mean that someone or something has been watching us, possibly for longer than humans have existed, from positions strategically placed throughout the observable universe. Perhaps the most unsettling discovery was that Voyager 2 itself had somehow been modified. Buried within the transmission were diagnostic reports showing systems and capabilities that were never installed on the original spacecraft. These were components that didn't even exist when Voyager launched in 1977. The data described quantum computing modules, advanced sensor arrays capable of detecting invisible dark matter, and most bizarrely, a propulsion system that had apparently activated multiple times to make course corrections that no one on Earth had authorized. According to these diagnostic reports, these mysterious upgrades had been functioning for years, completely undetected by NASA Mission Control. Engineers who originally built Voyager 2 were brought out of retirement to review the transmission, and they unanimously confirmed that none of this technology belonged on their spacecraft. Some of the described components resembled theoretical designs currently being developed on Earth, while others used physics applications we haven't yet mastered. Even more disturbing, the diagnostic logs showed these systems had been regularly communicating with something else in deep space, sending data to coordinates beyond our solar system and receiving instructions in return. Voyager 2, it seemed, had been quietly converted into something else entirely, a hybrid of human and unknown technology that had been operating independently for who knows how long. The spacecraft we thought was simply drifting through space had apparently been repurposed by an intelligence with technological capabilities far beyond our own. When linguists and codebreakers finally cracked the central portion of Voyager 2's message, what they found wasn't a peaceful greeting or an invitation to join some cosmic community. It was a warning, urgent, precise, and terrifying in its implications. The message described, using mathematical terms and symbolic imagery that transcended language barriers, the approach of something toward our solar system. This wasn't a comet or asteroid following a predictable path, but something moving with purpose, changing direction and speed in ways that indicated intelligence and intent. According to the coordinates and timing data embedded in the message, this object or group of objects had been detected moving through the Oort cloud, the shell of icy bodies at the very edge of our solar system. What made this warning particularly disturbing wasn't just that something might be headed our way, but that the message seemed to suggest Voyager 2 had been specifically modified to serve as an early detection system. The warning included precise timeframes and astronomical coordinates matched with specific dates over the next 15 years, suggesting a calculated, planned approach. Even more concerning, the message contained what appeared to be instructions for Earth to either prepare for or possibly avoid some kind of encounter. Whether this represented a genuine attempt to help humanity or something more sinister remains hotly debated among the few scientists cleared to know the full contents. But one thing was clear: something detected by our distant spacecraft had sparked enough concern that an unknown intelligence felt compelled to hijack Voyager 2 and use humanity's own technology to send us an urgent message about our immediate cosmic future. Within hours of receiving Voyager 2's strange transmission, something unprecedented happened at NASA and other space agencies worldwide. All live data feeds were suddenly cut, press conferences were abruptly canceled, and scientists working on the Voyager program were required to sign new, extremely restrictive confidentiality agreements. The official story released to the public was simple and non-threatening. Voyager 2 had experienced a computer reset due to aging systems, sending corrupted data before resuming normal operations. But insiders began leaking information almost immediately. Too many people had seen the raw data across multiple countries and organizations. Leaked information described a coordinated effort by government agencies to contain the information, with some scientists reportedly being reassigned to remote facilities or placed on indefinite special projects. When independent radio astronomers attempted to confirm Voyager 2's status using private observatory equipment, many reported strange interference patterns blocking that specific region of space. Perhaps most telling was the sudden massive increase in funding for planetary defense systems and deep space monitoring programs, pushed through with unusual government support and minimal public explanation. Amateur astronomers reported increased activity at major observatories, with many of the world's largest telescopes being redirected to specific coordinates in the outer solar system. The final, and perhaps most chilling aspect of Voyager 2's message was discovered not in the complex data patterns or encoded images, but in the timing of the transmission itself. The signal hadn't been sent randomly, but had been precisely timed to reach Earth on a very specific date. Deeper analysis revealed something far more unsettling. The transmission contained a rhythmic pattern that repeated exactly 4,380 times, the exact number of days in 12 years. When scientists mapped this pattern against astronomical data, they realized it aligned perfectly with a rare celestial event scheduled to occur exactly 12 years from the day the signal was received. This wasn't just a message, it was a countdown pointing to a specific moment in Earth's future with mathematical precision. The pulse pattern varied throughout the transmission, eventually forming what resembled a timeline with multiple points of significance leading to that final date, like a series of checkpoints or stages. Since this discovery, astronomers have confirmed that several minor celestial events predicted in the earlier stages of his countdown have already occurred exactly as the signal indicated they would. Whatever Voyager 2 was warning us about, it provided a precise timetable that's currently unfolding with perfect accuracy. The most disturbing theory among scientists who've studied the countdown is that we're not being shown when something will happen by chance, but when something is planned to happen by design. The countdown continues ticking steadily toward a date now less than 12 years away, while the world remains largely unaware that humanity's destiny may have already been scheduled by intelligences beyond our understanding. So what does all this mean for us here on Earth? The truth is, nobody knows for certain. What we do know is that our understanding of the universe and our place in it may be about to change dramatically. Voyager 2's final transmission suggests that we are not alone, that we are being watched, and that something significant is planned for our near future. Whether this represents first contact with an advanced civilization, a warning about cosmic dangers, or something else entirely, one thing is clear: the universe is far stranger and more connected than we ever imagined. And thanks to a brave little spacecraft billions of miles from home, we now have advance notice that our cosmic isolation is about to end. The countdown is ticking, the watchers are positioned, and humanity stands on the threshold of the most important moment in our species' history. What happens next will depend on how we choose to prepare for whatever is coming our way. If this story gave you chills like it did me, make sure to hit that like button and share this video with everyone you know. Subscribe to the channel and ring that notification bell, because this is just the beginning of the story. As more information comes to light, and as we get closer to that mysterious date in the countdown, I'll be here to keep you updated on what might be the most important story of our lifetime. Thanks for watching, and remember, keep looking up, because we are definitely not alone.